A few days ago, I had a conversation with someone that made me see a personal pattern in my relationship with uncertainty. Hello, beautiful people. I am Love Ravina, and you're listening to Version by Version, the Love Ravina Podcast. In this episode, I'd like to share with you one conversation I had with someone. And that conversation actually made me realize and understand that uncertainty was never the problem, but instead it was my relationship with it. So let's dive into the story, like what happened. I'd also like to share what I have learned from that conversation. And at the same time, I want to share with you the questions that I'm still trying to find answers to or trying to explore because at this point or at this stage of my discovery or my learning, I still haven't really found the answer to it. So, first things first, what happened? So, for context, there's this someone, okay, like a guy that I was getting to know. We're not official yet. And we're just at this stage where we just want to observe how things will go and just, get to know each other. And the crazy thing was, things were really okay generally. It's just that we had this conversation a few weeks ago, and he kind of like shared something with me. I don't think his intention was to give feedback or to call me out, but I think he was just being honest about his observations or what he has noticed so far. So he told me that we do not have to rush whatever our relationship was becoming. Like we could just let things to unfold naturally. Now, you might be wondering, why did he say that? So, to give more context to this experience, and this is okay, just to be very, very honest and to be very transparent with you, like this is something that's quite really personal to me. And to some extent, I'd say it's a bit vulnerable as well, but I'm still choosing to share this experience because this specific conversation and what he told me made me think about how I have been dealing or navigating other areas of my life. Now, going back to why he said what he said, before that conversation that I had with him, I had this tendency to constantly ask for updates from him, like what he's doing, where he is, or like who he is with, right? So there was like constant check ins, even though we are not official, which I know is a little crazy. Like perhaps like a few of you listening to this would think, Love, why would you go to that extent? Like, and I know that's crazy, but at first I really did not realize it was crazy until that conversation. At first, I actually thought, and this is like my very honest initial reaction to what he said. At first, I thought he was rejecting me. Or like I thought what he said was something about us or like our relationship. Like I really took it to some extent not in a very good way. It was just when he said that, my first response was, okay. That was it. Like, okay. And then we continued the conversation. And then after that conversation, we ended the call. After the call, I sat with myself for, I think, like 3 or 4 days just thinking about what he said. I'm really glad about what he told me because it made me see a pattern that I have that was a blind spot. And I think if he did not like say what he said that time, I wouldn't be able to acknowledge or even recognize it. I realized a few possible reasons why I behaved the way that I behaved or I acted the way that I acted. Maybe, okay, just maybe, I don't know if this is certain or whatnot, but maybe one possible cause could be my professional life. I'm not blaming my work or my job. It's just that I have noticed that there are certain behaviors or certain expectations at work that I'm bringing into my personal relationships. Because at work, I lead a division, okay? My division is also in charge of the operations of the entire business. And with that responsibilities and the stakes are higher, as much as possible I thought and I believe that as a leader, one of my roles is to create certainty wherever I can. So I communicate goals and expectations, we define roles, we understand how we are expected to work together. And so I was thinking, maybe, just maybe, that behavior, that expectation is something that I was also carrying with me in my personal relationships. Now, I'm not sure at this point as to whether or not wanting some level of certainty is good or healthy or not. I don't know yet. I haven't really like explored that area. But what I am learning now is that because I wanted certainty so much that I acted in a way that is not quite healthy or desirable or even does not create a good experience to the other person. But again, I sat with that thought and now I am learning. There are three like things that I have learned from that experience or from that conversation and from understanding the possible reasons why I have acted that way. The first lesson that I have learned is that uncertainty is really never the problem. I think what caused the friction was my relationship with uncertainty. Because if we really come to think about it, we can never eliminate uncertainty. Maybe we can reduce it to some extent, but like it's not something that we can 100% remove or eliminate. Uncertainty will always be there. But at least what I'm learning now is I cannot completely eliminate uncertainty. Not in my personal relationships, not at work, not with family, not even with like any areas or aspects of my life. There will always be uncertainty. And so, that said, what I need to do is to practice navigating uncertainty as best as I could. As to specifically how, I haven't really like deep dive into it, but that is just something that I am considering right now. Maybe I will be practicing navigating uncertainty very badly and very slowly. But what's important is I now acknowledge and I now accept that there will always be uncertainty. And so I just need to work on my relationship with it. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson that I have learned is to be present without having immediate answers. Because I realized when I was, for example, going back to this guy, when I was asking for updates or whatsoever, I wanted answers because I wanted to, I wanted to address this emotional need that I have. And so by doing it, I was focused on what's ahead. What will he say? What could he possibly be doing right now or whatsoever? Like I wasn't present. I wasn't in the moment. Right? And so I have realized that I need to learn how to remain present, be in the moment without having the answers. Just letting things be and letting people be. And in the third lesson, which I think is also like one of the biggest things or lessons I've learned from this experience and from my own reflection of the experience, is about trusting myself. Okay, trusting myself. Because one angle I am looking at the experience and even other areas or aspects of my life is that things will not always turn out the way I want them to. Things will not go according to plan all the time, right? People will disappoint me. Things will happen that is not up to my expectations or standards or whatsoever. Like there will be a lot of things in all aspects of my life that I cannot control, I cannot even influence, and that I cannot be certain of, right? And so I've come to realize that in moments like these, I have to learn how to trust myself. And what I meant by that is I have to learn how to trust myself and believe that I will not abandon myself if worse comes to worse. For example, looking at this personal relationship that I have with this guy, right? I'm not certain where our relationship will go. Maybe one day he will wake up and he'll tell me, you know what? I realize this is not for me. I realize I could not give you what you want. I realize I couldn't I couldn't be the man that he wants me to be or whatsoever, right? And he will leave. He'll disappear whatsoever. What will happen to me by that time? Will I abandon myself because of what happened? Or will I still be able to navigate this new challenge and trust myself that whatever happens, I will keep on moving forward? Like that is now something that I am thinking, not only in my personal relationship, even at work. Like maybe, oh, I don't know, like worst comes to worst, I lose my job or whatsoever, right? I stop for a while. I'm not sure if you can hear the earthquake. Not the earthquake, the thunderstorm. Earthquake. It's raining so, so badly. Right now, like while I'm recording this episode, I'm a little distracted, see? And the thunderstorm was so loud. I'm not sure if it got caught in the recording, but anyway, just so you know, if it got caught, then that's what happened. Going back to what I was saying, at work as well, maybe I will lose my job. I don't know. I don't know what will happen, but if that will happen, will I still be able to trust myself and believe in my ability to rise above the new challenge, to stand back up and to move forward and not abandon myself? I don't know yet what trusting myself looks like in everyday situation, but at least what is important to me right now is this awareness. Like I now have these like lessons, ideas that I am bringing or carrying with me that will hopefully guide me and help me as I move forward and like continue doing what I'm doing, and at the same time continue on achieving my dreams and my aspirations as well. So to just, summarize the three lessons, the first lesson again was that we can never really get rid of uncertainty. And so we just have to work on our relationship with uncertainty. Second is it's also important to learn how to remain present even without the answers or even with all of the doubts or even with all of the uncertainty, right? And then third is we also need to learn how to trust ourselves and believe in our own ability and capacity to move forward and rise above any challenges. There are still a lot of questions I have in my mind right now. There's still a lot of things that I am trying to understand. I am still wondering also whether reassurance or, asking for reassurance is always unhealthy or whether intention matters. I'm also thinking about what do I do when uncertainty is not available. And again, as I've mentioned earlier, I'm also thinking about what does trusting myself look like on a day-to-day basis. And I think this is like the main point why I have this podcast, because I am not here to share everything or share only things that I've mastered, but I'm also sharing with you the things that I'm learning, the things or the questions that I'm still asking, the ideas that I'm still exploring, and how it is gradually impacting me or influencing the person that I am becoming version by version, right? So yeah, those were just a few things that I am pondering on right now. And I think to you listening to this episode right now, what I would like to challenge you, and also this is a challenge I'm giving myself, is think of that moment, experience, aspect, or area in your life where you may be forcing certainty when it's not available yet. I don't know what that is. Okay. Only you has the answer to that. But just think of that moment and sit with it and try to see if noticing it or acknowledging it makes a difference without changing anything. Because that is where I am right now. I am not in a hurry to change anything, but instead I am just noticing it, sitting with the experience, and understanding how I can make use of this information, this newfound perspective to guide me as I move forward. And I am not sure, maybe that is also something that you can do at this point. Not to rush things, not to be in a hurry, just to settle with whatever it is that you are forcing to happen. And just think about that for a while and for a moment. Okay? So yeah, I hope that this has become valuable to you. For me really this episode specifically is quite too personal and vulnerable. I was even thinking, should I really talk about this? But then again, it wasn't really about dating or relationship per se, but it was just something that I have noticed in myself. And I just thought that maybe I'm not alone in this experience. Maybe you're also ruminating about this. And just so you know, you're not alone. Al- I am also going through this myself. But yeah, that's it. And before we wrap up, I would just like to extend my sincere thanks to Bagong Pilipinas Studios Visayas for giving me the space to record these episodes, and of course for helping Filipino creators like me. So thank you so much, BPS Visayas. And of course, let us continue this conversation. If you have a question, if there is something that you'd like to share me, feel free to leave them on the comments. So again, we can continue the discussion. And of course, please subscribe to the podcast and share this episode to someone who you believe might need this as well. So yeah, thank you for staying. And until next time, remember, we are all the work in progress, one version at a time. I'll see you in the next version.